Okay.
I said, how was your day? What have you been up to?
Uh,
What did you do today?
my day has been, I don't know, it's been good. So I worked overnight. I came back home. I slept for a couple of hours, about 1 hour and 30 minutes. I had to wake up for my French class and then started working on my private business. And it was time to go pick my kids from school. I just got back and here I am.
Okay, so before we proceed, guys, this is Her Immigrant Tales, and today we have an interview. This is an interview with one of our community members, and she's just going to be telling us about our story, our journey, our struggles, and everything. I do hope that you guys were able to pick one or two things and be able to relate to everything. Or one or two, we might not relate to everything, but you at least you relate to some things that will be said here.
Definitely.
You're able to pick some things for some of you that are already planning wearing your shoes to Jackpa. Get in here and get tips. So, Chidimejim, welcome. How have you been?
Thank you so much. I'm good. I am fine. We're taking it a day at a time, a step at a time, and making the
Okay.
most of it, I guess.
Okay, so previously you said you worked overnight and you also you've rested for like 1 hour, 30 minutes. How are you
Yes.
coping with that? Like how?
Really, I really don't know how I'm coping. I would even lie. But then coming here,
I have disappeared again, right?
yes, you have really.
Okay, no, just keep talking. I'll rectify it.
Okay.
Just keep talking.
So coming from an Igbo home, the first daughter, first child, and then followed by brothers who are now men. I have always thought I'm strong, but then I came to Canada and I realized that what I thought was strong back home was absolutely nothing compared to what it means to be strong here. So I would always say, I know I was strong. I didn't know I was this strong. So I've just been coping. And I will not also not take away the grace of God because one of my most beloved scriptures in the Bible is, it's not of he who will let or run it, but of God that showeth mercy. So he has been faithful.
So I'm back.
Okay, so I answered that question, but I don't know if you had it all. So
No, I got it. No, I got everything. I got everything. So, okay, okay. I know how hard it can be to be the first daughter. Not that I can relate. And sometimes I'm so glad that I can't relate. Because the pressure that comes with being the first daughter in an African home is not something we talk about a
it's
lot.
but unfortunately too.
Because I'm such an irresponsible being. I think I'm just going to make this video without my face showing. After all, our brand, this thing is showing them because I don't know why I keep disappearing and it's interrupting the whole thing. So, as I was saying, I'm not even pissed that I'm not the first daughter. I'm back again. I'm not a ghost, guys. There's something wrong with my phone or something. So I'm not even pissed I'm not the first daughter because I know the pressure that comes with being the first daughter. You have to be well behaved. You have to put your life together. You're an example to a lot of people. And me, I'm an irresponsible child. Do you understand? So I really do get the struggles, the problem. Have there ever been a time that you rebelled against being the first daughter, like especially now that you are not in close proximity to your family? You're like, well, anything will happen, may happen. I'm not going to conform to these standards anymore.
Well, for me, I've always been a revolting child. even though I'm the first daughter. I've always been very daring or daring. I say it as it is. I'm not scared to have a voice. I think one of the reasons will be the fact that my parents are very strict. I came from a very strict home, but then my dad introduced us to reading. So right from my very tender age, I had already started traveling via books. So it made me, I'll tell you what I have on my mind. And sometimes it lands me in trouble, but then I sleep very well at night knowing that I stated my mind, I stood by what I believe in. And today I am trying to make sure my kids also follow that path. Say your mind, be proud of who you are, be able to say it. So for me, I've not been the first child that, yes, I've been very responsible from a very tender age. You won't believe I started saving from something like primary one or primary two, thereabout. I would save 20 naira every day from school, and at the end of the month, I'll get 600. And you people know how those kind of money go. My mom will collect their job from me for on my behalf, and then later on it will go into But
I carried you
aside,
for 9 months
I carried you for 9 months. All the food you've been eating in this
in this
house.
house.
But aside that, take for instance, if my mom does something I think is wrong, I'll tell her categorically, Mom, this you did was wrong. If it's my dad, I'll tell my dad. If it's my aunt, look, I don't care how old I, what I owe you is respect. Though most times people will say, you're not respectful because Nigeria has a way of equating being respectful to being timid. I've never
Yeah,
been a timid
and
person.
they don't want them because they're older, they don't feel like they should be accountable to the younger
Exactly,
one for a particular
exactly.
kind of
So it's
attitude.
crazy. Take, for instance, my girls, I'll tell them, look, when you talk to someone, you make sure you look them in the eye. I had personal issues with that. I won't lie to you. I'll tell you that it took intentional effort for me to start looking at people in the eye. I'll tell you my mind, but I won't look you in the eye. So I think it was from my 25th, 20s, like towards my late 20s that I started being able to look people in the eye. And so I said, my girls, no matter who it is, no matter how tall the person is, when you talk to anybody, you look them directly in the eye and say what you have to say. So, um,
Okay, okay. So let's move to more serious questions. Okay, where does your story begin? Like, what was it like? What was life like before you migrated? Life back here in Nigeria. What was it like before you migrated?
okay, so life back in Nigeria was a comfort zone. And for me personally, it's a personal thing. I respect women who just want to be full housewives. They don't want to pursue career. I respect women who take a break from the career. But I have always been this kind of person who wants more. It's just like when my husband was coming to marry me, my dad was like, I'm not giving you this girl for her to be a full stay-at-home wife. So for me, Nigeria was a comfort zone, but then I wanted more. And unfortunately, and painfully so, we know what Nigeria does to us. Take me, for instance, my first dream was to be a lecturer. And so I graduated from school as the best graduating student in my set. And the plan was I do my master's, I start lecturing, and then I pursue my PhD and all of this. But then after graduation, for me to get a job was war. It was crazy. And this is another hassle of being a first child, of being a firstborn. You really don't have anybody to prepare the path for you. You don't
Mm.
really have anybody to ask questions. You don't really have anybody to say, okay, what do you think I should do? I envy my younger ones because I see some things on social media, I send it to them. I think AI is coming into place, and I'm like, look, you have to look for a way to get in on board. And I had no one to do that for me. So it was more like me graduating as best graduating student was nothing. And so I tried my hands on sewing. There was a time I started a fashion
And you
brand.
were really a good fashion designer, I
So
remember.
I tried my hands on that. I learned Chinese at a point.
Wow.
I did a course in HR when I decided to diversify, and then finally I did land a HR job. but I just knew I wanted more. At first, I really didn't know what it was. My dad, God bless my dad, because my dad would always say, Chidima, it's just that you don't know who you are. At the point I had to tell, I said, Dad, I really want to know who I am. And I guess I am on the path to becoming. I'm getting to know who I am, and it's taking me to a place of peace. So Nigeria was a comfort zone for me because Nigeria has a way of making you forget your dreams. Nigeria has a way of making you just say, Whoa, I have tried. Let me
Let me
just
just
back up.
survive. Let me
Let me
just
just
survive. Let me
survive,
just
you
eat
know.
at
And
least
it's
and wear
painful
clothes.
because if you are career minded, if you are ambitious, because I love ambitious people. I love ambition. So if you're ambitious, you'll be depressed in Nigeria because it's like you're there and you're watching your life roll by and you can't help it. So leaving Nigeria, um, to me was an opportunity, but then it was an opportunity I didn't know would come with so much troubles. So I was not prepared for the journey ahead of me. And aside that, though, I am happy for where I am today, and I'm hoping that, as usual, God takes absolute control.
Okay, okay. That actually, you were actually about to answer the next question, but I'm going to ask it nonetheless. What pushed you or inspired you to leave your home country? You basically answered it, but I'd like you to touch more light. Like, at what point did you say, "Oh my God, that this Nigeria is not for me"? Like, what was that incident that happened that made you realize that it's if I continue in this country, I will
Okay.
probably run mad.
So the incident, well, it's not just one incident, of course. The
Yeah.
couple of incidences
Inspired.
build.
Mm.
But one of the major incident I would say that kind of spurred me into saying I have to leave was when I stayed at a job I didn't like. It's not like I didn't like it. I grew out of the job. At first, it was interesting. I get bored easily. And so I'm
Mm.
always on the go, trying to learn things, trying to get better. So I got bored of that particular job and I couldn't leave that job because I didn't have another opportunity. Because I didn't know anybody. I didn't, my dad is not a politician. And so I was just like, in 20 years from now, when my girls are done with school, what will it be like? So I think that was what planted the seed. Then the political arena, I'm a politically minded person. The political arena didn't help any better, especially for those of us from the region where we come from. It's like we're visitors in our supposed countries. We don't have as much right as some of the people. And every day we see it play out and it's painful. So but 2023, well, 2023 election was what finally hits the final nail on the head. I'm like, whatever it takes. I don't want
Yeah,
my hair, whatever it takes.
that
So
election was bloody,
it's crazy.
bloody. I understand. If I had the resources, I would have just entered your handbag with you. We're about to deep. Let's deep.
Oh,
But
don't worry.
anyways,
I guess with time,
yeah.
because
So,
if you have
but
means, I would always
honestly,
encourage you to leave, please.
yeah,
Because
I know.
our
I
20s, it's almost like, take for instance, here, there was a job I did at some point, and then people were calling, and when they call in, people that are my age meet, like, I just bought my second house, I just bought my first house.
Are you serious?
For my mind, I go say, waiting be this one.
What's
Eh,
going on here?
what is going, like, the house? And
Well,
I'm done with my 20s. So it's painful. It's a painful reality, really. So
yeah, it just reminds me of a post that was shared on our platform, that's our IG yesterday. Oh no, I think it was day before yesterday. And the woman was talking about how a lot of people had achieved a lot at the like where she just relocated, and she noticed that the people that relocated before her,
Mhm.
they've
Yeah, I think
achieved
I
a
saw that
lot,
post.
and
Yes.
she doesn't have anything. Like she was now regretting that she was wishing that maybe she should have come earlier or something.
That in fact, I would not lie to you. When I receive those kind of calls, I'm like, ah, Chidima, if they say you come here like 10 years ago, by now you don't bam, you don't settle.
Exactly.
And that's the feeling. That's just, it's a very true feeling. So,
Wow. So, was there at any point, because for myself, I'll speak for myself, for the longest, I was of this mentality that I'm not leaving this country, I'm not going anywhere, I'm going to we die here,
it's our
we
homeland. We're
die
supposed to have
here.
that mentality, really.
What's that thing that is it Wakanda?
Wakanda forever.
Akala So I was of that mentality, but I think have stepped out of this thing. I've stepped out of that zone a long time ago. Yes. So Buhari started it and then Tinubu finished it. So was there any points in time that you were like, I'm very patriotic like that, like you're never going to leave the country?
Yeah, so um before the build up to the 2023 election, I at some point was looking into opening a fashion house at Surulere. And that was because as I then I felt that we could still make something out of Nigeria, you know. But then I then decided to look into it very well. I was like, no, please, it's not a risk worth taking. Instead of me to invest that money in opening a fashion empire that could be boggled over
Probably.
the night, I come
Exactly.
back, yeah, and then every machines are gone and everything is this. I was just like, okay, let's take the risk. And here we are. So yes, at some point I was believing it go better as we usually think, but then reality gave me a hard slap, and I came back to
You go
Nigeria's
better,
reality.
you go better where Idris sing since I did primary school. Never better.
Go better. But they tell you, they tell
Okay,
you.